everybody. This is Sri from BizBuzz, What Matters the Most in Your Business, sponsored by My Work Belt. My Work Belt is a business operating system, a SaaS product, particularly catered to service-based small businesses. If you have one of the service-based business, please check it out. Now, I have a guest, Craig Andrews. He is been a guest for us, and he shared a great deal of knowledge with us quite some time. And I am so excited to talk to you, Craig. How are you doing today?
Shreya, I'm doing wonderfully. It's good to be back with you again.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, in Michigan, we are getting a little bit more warmed up, which is I am really welcoming. And interestingly, yesterday evening, I was sitting by the window. I noticed little birds are chirping in my near my house as well. I thought, wow, spring is coming.
That's good. It's 89 in Austin right now. Huh? Is it close to that in Michigan?
We are 55. No, actually, we are 55. Yeah, 55, 60, between 55, 60 today. For Michigan and for the mid March, that's actually very welcoming temperature.
Yeah.
Uh, we up until early April, we cannot expect a warmer weather. Um, but there are incidents in Michigan. We had snow in the middle of April as well. Um,
Wow.
we had
Wow.
we had quite a lot of snow showers this year, relatively to last 3 years. But at the same time, it's not. It's actually died pretty quick. So, for us to talk about today, I was thinking of what is the role of AI and how the AI can be applicable to small businesses. And large corporations are talking about investing multi billions of dollars into AI and bringing the energy independence to the America for particularly aiming to develop the AI. So, what does it mean to the small businesses, Craig? What is your take on that?
AI, it's an amazing thing, and the it reminds me of the early days of the PC, which I remember.
Right.
When they created the PC, they promised it would do all sorts of things. And one of my favorite examples is that you would store your kitchen recipes on the computer. And I could never figure that out. I was trying to picture a computer because they were much bigger back then,
Yes.
and I was trying to figure out where that would fit in the kitchen and how you'd keep the flour.
You keep the diet. How do you
Yeah,
retrieve the recipe when you wanted to bake a pumpkin pie or something?
but eventually the computer is, a mainstay. When I was growing up, we were on the Vanguard and we had one computer for our house. Now I would be shocked if you had anything less than computer per person in the house, maybe more than one computer per person.
If you take a
Um,
look at my home network, we have nearly a dozen devices connected to the network,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
are only three people in the house.
yeah.
Over a dozen devices. So the number of electronic devices, computers, and gadgets usage have been tremendously increased. But particularly, the direction that technology is going now is towards creating the AI, artificial intelligence. We are evolved from a building size of a computer, which can only calculate no more than a calculator capacity, to a palm size supercomputer, which can give you music, videos, audios, recipes, and pretty much putting the whole world in your hand. But now AI is taking it further, one more step. In a way, it might be leading us into being a lethargic. Some would argue with that. But for small businesses, they have adapted these technologies, right? At one point of time, small business cannot think of affording a computer, but now they were able to afford it. And small business owners, and even for that matter, even workers, clerks, and lower end of the workforce is also able to afford a smart home. Now, the AI on top of it, it can bring good and bad, especially at the early stage of this AI evolution. So, tell me, in a small business owner's perspective, do you think it is up to the mark for the small businesses to start use it and then say, "Hey, I got a great tool," or is there a caution that they need to pay attention to?
Yeah, I think we're basically at the point where showing up to work without using AI is kind of akin to showing up at work without using a computer. But at the same time, um, you need humans to use some judgment. And for those that tried to put a computer in their kitchen to store their recipes in the 1980s, nobody did that because it didn't make sense. The problem with AI is it appears smarter than it is. And so before you and I hit record, I was showing you a GPT, and think of a GPT as just a uh, a pre-formulated prompt that you give an
Mhm.
AI, and it was to do research on leads. And so we threw your name in there,
Mhm.
your email address, and your where you're located, and we said look up information on Tree. Well, it got your name right. It got your LinkedIn page right the first time. The second time, it got it wrong.
Mhm.
But your address was wrong. And so we
Completely.
and so we tried prompting it to help it find the right address, and it never did find the right address.
No, despite giving the prompts to go search for public records exactly where you can find the address, and still it came back with the wrong address and came back with the wrong information.
Yeah. And that's the risk. It reminds me of a company I worked for years ago. We hired a uh, a applications engineer to service Taiwan. And when he came to visit us at the factory in North Carolina, after a day or two with him, I told somebody, I said, we should never let him visit customers because when he doesn't know the answers, he'll make up answers. And that's kind of where AI is it will make up answers and it seems very certain, just like this guy seems certain. He's like, well, absolutely, this is the way it is. But I knew enough to know what he was telling us was true was not true, and he had made it up.
A lot of people in the public, they come to conclusions very quickly. That's a human nature, you know. But the heavy hype given on the power of AI is making the AI be a trusted advisor for you. And if a small business owner take that hype from the market and use that trusted advisor position for research of their data or any information they needed, then that might be a risky for them to take a wrong steps.
Yeah, and I would say that you need to treat AI the way a manager or a leader treats his staff. So if if you go off and let's say you have somebody working for you and you say, I want you to go research the latest antivirus platforms for small businesses. And they come back and say, now some answers are kind of safe. If they say, well, you should just use Microsoft Defender or you should use, whatever. Well, that's a safe answer. But if they come back and they say, well, there's this new company called Krusty's antivirus. Maybe on the surface, obviously not with the name Krusty, but on the surface, it may sound very good. As a manager, you're going to say, well, what do you know about Krusty? I want some information to back up this decision. And so we do that when we have employees or team members that we send off to get information. We ask them to provide references. And in the GPT that I was showing you, that was one of the instructions was provide references for all of your answers so that you can go in and check it. And so this is where it becomes a really powerful tool is when it pulls the information and you go to check the references, you didn't have to go find the references. The GPT did that for you. And then if we go in, we're like, well, wait a minute. It got Shree's LinkedIn page correct, but this address is wrong. Then just like an employee would say, hey, go back. You got this wrong. You need to look into this further.
But at the same time, you also look at certain strengths that AI tools are bringing. Are the same ChatGPT that we both were playing around with. If I if I request or if I prompt a ChatGPT, hey, I have this business message, and can you rephrase it for me, or can you shrink it for me, but keeping the same meaning? So it does do a fairly good job, although many of the marketing professionals, even you as a marketing professional, you don't need to rely on it, but it can give you a kind of a helping hand. It can lend a helping hand for you to write something or rewrite something. Is that a good direction that am I thinking?
No, absolutely. And again, I think, if we're not there already, we're going to be there soon. Showing up for work, showing up at work and not using AI is going to be like showing up at work and not using a computer. And and so, I was thinking about this. I'm sure you've seen the resumes come through where somebody puts their skills on the resume. I'm proficient in Microsoft Word. And you just kind of look at that and you're like, I assume that. I'm actually now a little bit worried that you put that on your resume that you think that's an accomplishment. That's
That's
kind
right.
of table stakes. Um, I can see resumes coming through where they say, I know how to use ChatGPT. And I think it's just going to be an assumption soon
Very, very
that,
soon. Lot sooner than the case of Word, Microsoft Word. I mean,
yeah,
in the very beginning, take the case of early 2000s or even before 2000, you can gain some credibility by saying that I know how to use Microsoft Word for a period of 4 or 5 years.
yeah,
After that, the market expects you to know. But now, ChatGPT, if you say that more than 2 months or 3 months at the beginning of the ChatGPT, then now everybody expects, even for the teenage children, are able to use the ChatGPT to do their homeworks, and which has been a big discussion in the educational community that this is a big no-no. Um,
yeah.
no, but actually, this is a great discussion. I'm so glad to hear your thoughts in this. So, if I take a look at this, Craig, so what we are talking about it, yes, AI tools are going to be necessary tools pretty soon, if not already, in certain industry. And now, at the same time, treat the AI tools as a one of the companion or a colleague opposed to being a trusted advisor for everything.
Yeah.
Now, the same AI tools can be used to accomplish or perform certain tasks for you, but AI tools are not there yet to give you an accurate decision making capacity through the research. Is that a fair summary?
I think that's a wonderful summary. I think that's spot on.
Excellent. Listeners who are listening to this podcast, I am so glad you are participating with us. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you understand the concepts that we are discussing and apply it on your business. And next episode, see you next episode pretty soon. Thank you very much.